Hello everybody, welcome back to the internet's best reactions. Today we are talking about the Hungarian Grand Prix. Now, you're probably wondering, why on earth are you wearing a WTF1 race suit, Matt? Well, firstly, if you haven't seen it, then ta-da, Puma made this. But secondly, we've also been filming a karting series with none other than a man that is with me right now. F2 driver and F1 test driver for Renault, Jack Aitken.
Hello.
Hi, Jack.
It's my first time.
This is actually the first time we've ever had a proper guest, but I'm not going to have you throughout the whole show. Just kind of going to pop you up occasionally for analysis and bants. Is that okay?
I'll just chill.
Yeah, if you could just, okay. Right. Let's get into your reactions. Let's start where we always start, the start. And it was pretty hectic going into turn one. It's at 380 metres. It's 380 metres, Jack? I'm not going to make you stand up. Yeah, he's giving me the thumbs up. 380 metres down towards turn one. You're probably wondering, what am I looking at? He's sat down
Actually,
here.
no, it's more than that.
Is it more than that? It's more than 380 metres. Either way, that's fine, shush. We're going to talk about the start and the fact it was quite hectic going into turn one. And Valtteri Bottas did enjoy a good lockup at Lewis Glynn 69. How many lockups does Valtteri Bottas want in the first few corners? It was pretty close between himself and Hamilton. I thought through turn two especially that there was going to be potentially a little bit of contact. Bringing in Jack Aitken here for a little bit of analysis. Did you think the same, Jack?
It was, yeah. It was a little bit tight, wasn't it?
A little bit tight between teammates.
Yeah.
And he locked up a lot. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think you're just right on the edge to, especially turn two, the way it is. If you can get your nose ahead of the other car, then you can take the corner. We know how important track position is. So probably it was forefront both of their minds to get that position as much as they could on the first lap.
Perfect, thanks, Jack. Continuing on with your tweets. Now, with the start, there was also Max Verstappen to be discussed in the Red Bull. He has had quite a few terrible starts recently, and both of them he won. At KD62019, Verstappen finally gets a good start and maintain the lead, and that's when he doesn't win. So really, he needs to drop down to about 7th, and he'll win every race. So we've mentioned about Bottas' locking up, but also his start just in general was pretty rubbish in the first couple of laps. He lost quite a few positions and then hit Hamilton, which lost him even more time, and then he had to pit and go all the way to the back of the field, even behind the two Williams. At Tamir Daha, accurate representation of Bottas' start. Jack, I want a reaction to this meme.
Oh, you hate to see that, don't you?
With Max Verstappen leading the Hungarian Grand Prix in the first few laps and getting pole position, you kind of look to the other side of the garage. Pierre Gasly, where is he? What's he doing? What's he up to? Because clearly not much, because he got lapped again. It's just so disappointing. At Dan Bastianins, live footage of Max trying to carry Red Bull while Gasly is in 8th. Well, this was at the time Gasly was in 8th, and he was just stuck behind Raikkonen, the two McLarens, I think, at one point, until Lando got his slow stop. It was just what's he doing? Jack Aitken, come in. What do you think, just very concisely, what do you think's wrong with Pierre Gasly's side of the garage?
It's just not quick enough, is he?
Okay. Moving on. Now, I mentioned Bottas lost his front wing. We haven't actually spoken about the incident itself. It was a very strange one. Leclerc and Bottas kind of drifted a little bit over to the right. Leclerc came over a lot to the left, and it was almost, it was given as a racing incident, wasn't it, Jack? Was it a racing incident? As you're doing the crab?
I would say racing incident.
Racing incident. It looked a little bit dodgy on the cameras.
Well, the way the cameras played it, it almost looked like Leclerc just jinked over and basically smashed his wing for no real reason. But it was Bottas coming on the racing line to go to the right for the left-hander, and Leclerc trying to defend and close the door.
So the stewards were right? Okay, thank you. At Official Susk, Leclerc drives into Bottas' wing. Matt, you didn't see anything. I genuinely thought he might have got a penalty for that, but after Jack's explanation, clearly the stewards were right. Continuing on with Charles Leclerc at Pilopsy SZN, Plan A for Leclerc, Matt be like. I do enjoy, firstly, The Office, secondly, this particular GIF. So you get featured. It was Plan A, and then it changed and changed again. Daniel Ricciardo started at the back of the grid after a power unit change, as well as having a pretty poor qualifying. I think he qualified 17th, but then he just started at the back because of the change. And he had to make his way through quite a few cars. Didn't really get too high. I think he finished 14th. At Sharath_R_Nake, me watch Rick making his way through the field. I love a typo, don't I, in a tweet? You can kind of make out what he means though. And that dive on Gio, I think that was into turn one. It was pretty saucy. At Derek Heigl, 15 laps in and the Hungarian GP is looking like. It wasn't looking particularly exciting at this point. We kind of saw Verstappen very much measuring the gap, Hamilton slowly closing in, but you didn't really think there was going to be too much action and sort of going down the field. It's quite difficult to follow a car through there with all the dirty air, and there's not many overtaking opportunities. But it continued to get a little bit more exciting with the strategy. But at this point, lap 15, we were a little bit concerned that it might have been a boring race, which we haven't had in 4 races. But then we didn't have a boring one because it was fun. This one was a good one. At Timey Wifey Daffy, Gasly and Bottas today. Is there anything else that needs to be said? They really both needed a good result at Hungary. 3 weeks for teams to mull, think about their contracts, and they both had pretty bad ones. Anyway, that's it. No more roasting of those two. They are very much roasted and done, coming out the oven, ready to be served, to be eaten. Ate. I won't bring you up for this one, Jack Aitken. Jenson Cox won. A Renault suffering with power issues. That was Hulkenberg, who was suffering with power issues. Actually, I will bring you up. Come up. Jack, what was Hulkenberg's race about, and did he solve those issues?
So I was actually plugged into Daniel's side of the radio.
Bias.
So I can actually not tell you anything about that because I don't actually.
Well, just remove yourself then.
Probably, I would. No. I would just go. No,
Okay. He doesn't know. Hulkenberg had issues, and thank you very much for Jenson Cox for the submission. Now, one of the best parts of the race, apart from the battle for the lead, which we'll get onto, was the 2 Toro Rosso teammates going wheel to wheel over the course of about 4 or 5 corners. Jack, we're going to bring you in for this one at Bro Tream, seeing Kvyat and Albon going wheel to wheel and not touch. Actually, we need to get the tweet in, so go back down again for a second, show people the tweet. Okay, there's the tweet. And Jack, come back up. Let's talk about it. How good was that?
It was pretty awesome, wasn't it? I think it was impressive that they managed to do that and not crash, because actually some of the moves they were doing were a little bit on the risky side.
I was going to say, they were like, oh, it's very measured, but they were millimetres apart.
All it would take was, because you saw Kvyat exit turn 3, he even had like a little wiggle, and if he'd gone into the side of Albon, that was like race over for both of them, so yeah, very cool.
Great analysis from Jack Aitken. Thank you. Social media team championship time now for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I think a lot of teams were busy strategizing during this race because there was a bit of banter, and that's what we have decided to choose in this top 3. So let's get into it. In 3rd place, we have Toro Rosso. Watching Alex Albon and Kvyat official scrap over P12. I can only imagine how stressed out they were watching those two go side by side for 4 or 5 laps. As Jack said earlier, it was very touch and go, but they got away with it, so you get a point. In 2nd place, and I don't actually remember whether or not they have scored any points this season, but they're going to get it because it's a bit of banter and a bit of self-burn, I suppose. It is Haas F1 team replying to the Toro Rosso tweet, which we just saw. We know that feeling. Sad times. We're at a kart track. If you can hear noise, kart track, people having fun. We've been karting. Stay tuned for the karting series. What are you saying? And finally, the winners of the Social Media Team Championship for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's those boys again, and girls, and children, and men, and women, and old people. It's Sport Pacer Racing Point Formula 1 team. Inserts coin, picks up mallet. Whack a mechanic, whack a mechanic, whack a mechanic. I'm not going to continue that anymore, but it's a brilliant post. And many people replied to that post saying that Matt, I can already see Matt saying 3 points or 3 points or this deserves 1st place. And it does! Well done, Sport Pacer Racing Point Formula 1 team. That's 1 point for Toro Rosso, 2 points for Haas F1 team, and 3 points for Sport Pacer Racing Point Formula 1 team. So strategy was a massive element of the Hungarian Grand Prix. You know, you had the battle between Verstappen and Hamilton. Who was going to pit? Were they going to go onto a 2-stop? Although not many people thought about that until Hamilton actually did it. But there was a few before the first stop where Mercedes were just in, out, shake it all about their pit crew. At Marius Kraus, Mercedes pit crew literally every lap. Well, I don't know, it's literally every lap. It was like 2 or 3 laps. I don't know how they got away with it, but they did, because technically you're not allowed to do that where you come out into the pit lane and go back in again and throw a dummy, essentially, but they got away with it. I mentioned at the beginning of the video about Charles being on plan A. Everyone was buzzing, I was happy, you know, just a normal strategy for the Monegasque, as everyone loves to call him. At W, Ferrari now on plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Changed a lot of plans, left Charles out for a long time. Maybe gave Vettel the preferential strategy, putting him on the softs towards the end. It clearly was the fastest tyre, and then he lost the podium. I'm absolutely fine about it. I am just passionate, not a fanboy. Okay, cool. Just so you know. Continuing on the Ferrari theme, at James Ward G, when you realise how far the Ferraris are away from the lead battle. Jack Aitken, what's your thoughts on Ferrari's pace this weekend, and why do you think they were so slow?
Well, Ferrari's been lacking a bit of downforce, I think it's fair to say this year. They've been decent in a straight line, but when it gets to the twisty stuff, not so good. And Hungary, Monaco without the buildings. That's what they say.
Yeah. Perfect. Well,
I'm a racing driver.
He's a racing driver. He doesn't talk, he races. Cool.
But yeah, that's just not their kind of track, unfortunately.
Not their kind of track. Thanks, Jack. Every time. Love it. But they should be better at Spa, Monza, those kind of tracks. A lot more top speed reliant. We'll see. So Hamilton and Verstappen, absolutely brilliant battle. Hamilton trying to catch Verstappen, get within that 1 second window so he can then use DRS. But then as soon as he did, Verstappen then got DRS on so many different back markers. At Lewis Glynn 69, Hamilton, I'm faster than Verstappen. I will overtake him. Back markers. Solid. That's a solid tweet. Good work. Just a general overview from Onggen 287918107. Watching the Hamilton-Verstappen battle. Sorry, Verstappen-Hamilton battle. Sums up, I think, a lot of people's reactions and feelings when watching this race. It was decent. I really enjoyed it. People were saying that they found it quite boring. I'm like, not everything has to be wheel to wheel every single lap for something to be interesting. Hungary is notoriously known for being one of the more boring tracks, but we had the element of strategy. It was great. Hamilton went on to a two-stop. Even before that, he was attacking. It was good. What's wrong with you? At Helena Hates You, Bottas lapped by Verstappen. I said I was going to do no more roasting, didn't I? Oh God, I've put Bottas back in the oven. Sorry, he's now done again. He's finished. Now, it wouldn't be a Formula One race, and I've said this quite a few times this season, without Lewis Hamilton complaining over the radio. At Hurricane Barca, Hamilton, I can't keep the pressure on. Also Hamilton, gains time on the lead. You got to wonder, haven't you? Jack Aitken, what is it with Lewis Hamilton's team radio sometimes? You just feel like he's given up all hope, and then he usually wins the race. In fact, I think the more times he moans, he wins. He
likes to add a bit of drama to the story, I think, is the only answer.
Do you think that he kind of plays dummies to teams, and he's like, I can't possibly catch them, and then he does?
It's a risky game to play, dummying your own team. I mean,
but what if they know already? All of this is an opera.
I don't think they do. I feel like it's genuine. Like in the moment, he's just like embracing his inner drama queen a little bit.
Yeah.
He is a world champion. I should stress that.
Many times, 5 times. He's only 10 wins away from Schumi's record. No, not really. Just a drama queen, but in a good way. Like a.
Yeah, he makes
just emotional.
Makes it interesting for us at home, doesn't he?
He does. The big decisive moment in the race was around 19, 20 laps to go. Hamilton pits for another set of mediums. He goes onto the fresh tyres. He's 20 seconds behind Verstappen. We're all sat there like this tweet at the Rubenizer. Everyone after Lewis's pit stop. The first 2 or 3 laps, I was thinking this is done. Verstappen's won by a country mile. But then it all changed. Verstappen's tyres went off. Hamilton's went on. In more than one sense, and then he caught him and passed him and won the race. Next week. Kevin Magnussen is known to be quite the defensive, elbows out kind of driver, and him and Ricciardo were having a lovely little ding-dong at _Chevywood. Magnussen probably thinks it's Hulkenberg behind him and not Ricciardo. That was quite a funny thing that Crofty said about Grosjean and Magnussen, and Grosjean crashing Magnussen's reception or something. It was good fun. If you heard it, then you'll know. If you hadn't, then this is irrelevant. Cool. At F1 Adam 8, 10 laps to go. Hamilton catching Max, Seb catching Charles. It was quite tense. Although, to be fair, we hardly saw the Ferraris. I know they were a long way back, but usually they get cut to quite a bit with the cameras, but there was hardly any action from the Ferrari drivers until the end when Vettel just steamed past Charles. So it was quite risky. A little bit of a whoop from Charles, and then Seb was like, okay, straight up the inside, turn 1, done. Fresher tyres, it was easy. It was a done deal, really. Coming towards the end of the race now, and Hamilton gets past Verstappen for the lead of the race. At Ludicolo42, wow, what a strategy, Mercedes, and it was a fantastic call. But at the same time, it was very much an open strategy that they could have gone for, because Ferrari was so far behind. In any normal race that we've had this season, they wouldn't have been able to do that because it's quite a quick pit stop, and then they were able to get out with a lot of margin to Ferrari. There was no risk there, and it was worth a punt, and it absolutely worked. And Hamilton drove fantastically as well, you have to say. He said he didn't make any mistakes in the 15 laps where he was just pumping in qualifying lap after qualifying lap, and he did his job. 5-time world champion. It shows. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to roast Valtteri anymore. However, I forgot about this tweet, and it's not me roasting, it's the tweets. I can't choose them. Well, I do, actually. At TNevitt1996, James to Valtteri, 6th place is highly likely. McLaren, Red Bull, and Alfa Romeo after the race. Yeah. You finished 8th, Jack? Yeah, big nod and a little thumbs up from him as well. 8th place for Valtteri Bottas. It was interesting because I think James, the strategist at Mercedes, said it was a fantastic job from Valtteri to get to 8th. Don't know about that. This one is quite harsh on Pierre Gasly, but I found it very funny because I enjoy these kind of memes where it's either like bins racing and then they are tagged in a certain way. At the official FNG, Verstappen fans have found Pierre Gasly outside the track. I do feel very sorry for him. As I've said many times, he's a lovely man and he has got the talent, but he's just not quick enough in that particular car. Sad times.
And now it's time for Race Rundown with your host, Matthew Gallagher.
Here we go, race rundown time, and it's not me doing it this week. It is Mr. Jack Aitken. How do you feel about that?
I'm honoured.
You're honoured. Okay. You know how this works. Finishers and then non-finishers. The finishers actually was everyone bar one, so good luck. As fast as you can, please.
Just
the top 19.
Do we need a team there? Or
no, not team. This guy clearly doesn't watch. That's fine, whatever.
I just want to be exact.
Just the surname. Just the surname. Let's not make it too difficult.
Okay, disclaimer, I'm not a presenter, alright? So the vocal cords there, they're not...
Lando was really good, and he's not a presenter, he's a driver. So you have Lando to beat, and people are very impressed.
Alright.
So get into it. Jack Aitken, race rundown. The finishes were...
Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel, Leclerc, Sainz, Gasly, Raikkonen, Bottas, and Norris.
Bottas. Let's try again. I'm glad that you messed up, because I do it all week, every week. Here we go. Jack Aitken. Take number 2.
Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel, Leclerc, Sainz, Gasly, Raikkonen, Bottas.
Bottas! It's Bottas every time. I love it.
Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel, Leclerc, Sainz, Gasly, Raikkonen, Bottas, Norris, Albon, Perez, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Russell, Stroll, Giovinazzi.
Giovinazzi. Here we go. Jack Aitken, race rundown. This is the one.
Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel, Leclerc, Sainz, Gasly, Raikkonen, Bottas, Norris, Albon, Perez, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Russell, Stroll, Giovinazzi, Kubica.
Yes.
One small stuff.
Round of applause with everyone here. Yeah.
Happy with that. Happy with that.
Well done, Jack Aitken. Race rundown complete. I'll take that from you. How do you feel after doing race rundown?
Stressed.
Yeah? More stressed than on the grid before a race?
Oh, definitely. This is, I think I need a week to recover from that.
I'm just glad I didn't do it. And that is it for the internet's best reactions to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Thank you to Jack Aitken for coming on and being little bits of analysis here and there, me pushing him down like some sort of, well, actually a little bit similar to the Sport Pace and Racing Point Formula 1 whack-a-mole thing. So thank you for being the up and down analysis and also doing race rundown. If you want to get involved next time, use the hashtag WTF1 on social media and we will pick the very best ones to be involved in 3 weeks' time. For the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a long, long time. You're not too sad because you get to go on holiday and chill out, whereas we just have no content for 3 weeks. But look forward to the karting series where me and Jack are going to be involved in all that on the channel very soon. Make sure you subscribe if you want to go and see that and any other content. And that's it. I'm Matt, he's Jack with WTF1, and we'll see you for Internet's Best Reactions in 3 weeks. Well, you might not, but I'll be here. Bye!